Cool. Welcome to episode 1, Wrist Check Podcast. My name is Perri.
I'm Ben.
I'm Rashawn.
And we finally made it, guys. How's it feel?
Feels great.
This is pilot episode 1. You guys ready?
Yep. Talking, gotta make it happen now.
So just to give you guys a little background, the Wrist Check Podcast, we just started this. This is episode 1. It's just a couple of dudes. We're friends. We started this hashtag on Instagram called Wrist Check, where every couple of days or so we share what we're wearing on our wrist. And, we just wanted to start a podcast, basically talking about what we love and our passion and enthusiasm for timepieces. What are you guys wearing today? Start with Ben.
Vintage Omega. All I'm going to say is that it's an Omega because it falls into its own category. We don't know if it's a Seamaster, if it's a DeVille, if it's a Constellation. All we know is has a black enamel dial, original crystal, 10-karat gold cap, lugs, and bezel.
Fire.
And it has those shark teeth hour markers, so can't go wrong there.
Yeah, they say Omega doesn't sell watches, they make watches.
Yes.
So I'm going to partner with Ben on the vintage tip. I am wearing a 71 cushion case Seiko.
You guys brought the big dogs.
This is actually my favorite piece paired with the yellow strap. The blue dial just gives it that pop. The coolest factor about it, too, is that you can cipher between English and a Spanish date wheel.
Woo.
Okay.
Japanese watch with Spanish days?
Yes. Yeah. So,
Respect. I am wearing today my beater watch. G-Shock 2100. I think this is the B3A, something like this.
The Japanese one?
Yeah. This was a Japanese exclusive. I think this is coming to U.S. markets, though. This is the digital analog with the green dial. Green dials are hot right now.
Yep.
I saw this piece originally on an Instagram post. I thought it was a mod. And then I realized that this thing was on sale in Japan.
It looks like a mod because it has a metal case.
Exactly. Yeah. But this one has really grown on me. I wear this one a lot now. It's like kind of like my weekender, my weekend driver, you could say. But definitely a lot of fun. I might change the strap. I'm looking for like a orange strap. We'll see where it goes.
Okay.
So boom, next up, some new releases. There's some pieces that have come out recently. I know we talk about, so we have an Instagram sort of thread, a direct message thread, with all of our watch dudes. And we're constantly just like sending photos in and commenting on this stuff. And one of these pieces that came up happened to be the new Oris, Big Crown Pro Pilot, Big Date, and bronze. You guys know how I feel about bronze watches.
A lot of words for that.
Yeah.
Big Crown Pro Pilot.
Big Crown Pro
Date.
Pilot, Big Date, massive respect. Retails at $2,200. Not bad.
No, not at all.
41 millimeter. What do you guys think about this piece?
They do 41 good. The case is bronze.
The case is bronze.
Polished, that's good.
You got that black date wheel.
See, that's what I like. A lot of brands don't do black date wheels or colored date wheels in general, usually white.
Yeah.
And I personally prefer them in black.
I think Oris has been making a lot of noise lately too.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
Prior to this year, I wasn't really on them like that. Like I didn't really see myself as like an Oris customer, but like lately, I think with the release of like the Rega Fleet limited edition.
Yeah, the Rega Fleet's cool.
Which is fire. They kind of got my attention, and I have a thing for bronze watches. This one kind of seemed like, I don't know, I think it's kind of smooth.
Yeah. I mean, overall, the Oris brand is amazing. They do beautiful pieces and they all have a great story to them, even down to, the Carl Bashir.
The Carl Bashir watch is cool.
Celebrating the first African-American amputated diver, which is
master diver at that.
That's a story in its own. They do beautiful dials, kind of commemorating the Greenlands in Africa.
And they did like a Roberto Clemente.
Yeah,
like
For his
limited
that one
piece,
that's been
right?
popping off. Like, a lot of people been talking about that on
Yeah.
social media and a lot of forums too.
Their philanthropy, their appreciation of nature. They just did a recycled dialed.
Yep. They did it in 2 sizes.
Yeah, 2 sizes, which is, speaks volumes to, just what Oris is doing and really putting the humanitarian part of, watch collecting to the test.
Now, this is a brand that's been around for over 100 years
Yeah, a long
now.
time.
And it seems just like now they're really, really starting to make waves again. I think it's interesting for a brand with as much history as they have that's starting to it seems like they're starting to attract a lot of young people. I mean, definitely it has our attention. Why do you think that is? Do you think it's definitely just like the collaborative pieces or like the special?
I think it's collaborative pieces, but also it's been like a revitalization of a lot of brands, but specifically Oris too, because they're just being, I think, more creative than most other brands are right now. And at their price point is super hard to beat.
I think that's the key thing too.
Yeah.
Like the price points, like if you're looking for like a solid piece for the value, like
Yeah.
you can't go wrong with an Oris right now. Like even their dive options, I think are really kind of fire.
Yeah. The price point is like very inclusive for the guy that is trying to build a watch collection.
Yeah, this could be a great first watch for somebody.
Yeah.
Maybe your budget's $2,500, $3,000 tops. There's not a lot out there in like what most people would consider the luxury watch space.
Yeah.
This is definitely one of them.
What do you guys think the thing is with like bronze right now too? Because it seems like a lot of brands are starting to pivot to that as like another metal or material to use in terms of like watchmaking.
I think it's mostly because, time has like so many layers to it. Just as far as how you keep time, what you use to refer to time, owning these timepieces kind of when they patina and they change colors and they build character and their purpose, then they kind of like take on, a different characteristic that it did when you first purchased it, speaks to the volume. So I think bronze is like that new definition to, a watch collector.
I think I definitely think you're onto something. I think for me, as someone who is a fan of bronze watches, as someone who's a fan of tool watches and someone who's also passionate about vintage and I don't really like new stuff, bronze is super appealing to me in that respect, that it does develop a patina, it does get character. You wear it in any way you wear it, it just
changes.
becomes more and more of your own. Yeah, it changes. And I definitely think smart move on behalf of Oris. I don't own one yet. I could definitely see myself owning one in the future. I like what they're doing. The Pro Pilot, I think is an incredible series. Shout out to them. Next, what we have is, you're going to like this. This is, from what I know about you, this is your
Grand Seiko.
This is your brand, Grand Seiko. So Grand Seiko recently released 2 new sport models, GMTs, the SBGM 245 and the SBGM 247. Regarding both of these models, I think it's pretty obvious which one I like, because I am a sucker for a green dial right now.
Makes 2 of us.
Yeah.
And they got the hit of orange, just perfect contrast.
With Grand Seiko, it just really seems like right now it's like hit after hit after hit.
Yeah.
Like, especially if you're just a fan of like beautifully crafted timepieces, things that like you can dress up and dress down. They just keep hitting it on the nail. I think this is an awesome piece.
Yeah, I don't think they've missed with anything in the last year. It doesn't matter quartz, high beat, spring drives, standard automatic. It works in every aspect.
Yeah. I love that this year they're really pushing the GMT complication.
Yeah.
A lot of the pieces that have come out have been GMTs. GMT is definitely one of my favorite complications. I love to travel.
You stay on the plane.
Yeah.
We know. I mean, I love to travel. So it's like, for me, just being able to jump from, coast to coast, country to country, and still be able to maintain my time at home and, have a respectable time to call my mom.
Yeah, I think this
Respect.
is like the fifth with these two. It makes maybe 5 or 6 GMTs that they've dropped in the last year.
Yeah.
It's a fire piece. This one is definitely channeling like a Explorer 2 vibes
Yeah.
for me too. So there's definitely like some like a Rolex influence.
That's all in the bezel, I feel.
For sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
How do we feel about Grand Seiko's bracelets though?
Meh.
They're getting better with the
they're
bracelets.
getting better though.
Yeah.
They are getting better.
Because everybody I know with a Grand Seiko, it's like you get one, it's fire, you put on a strap.
Yeah, I'll agree to that.
Yeah.
For sure.
That's the first
yeah.
thought I have when I see a Grand Seiko. I'm like, fuck,
Yeah.
on the strap, this would be really good.
Yeah, I mean, and definitely to Grand Seiko's credit, Ben and I work closely with the brand. You know, they do listen to us as, you know, brand reps or even the consumer. You know, Grand Seiko is still a baby in the U.S. market. So they're
How
trying to
old
find a
is,
niche.
is that line though?
Grand Seiko?
We all know Seiko.
1960.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so they've been around for a
Yeah,
minute.
Grand
They've been-
Seiko has been independent of Seiko since 1960.
Oh,
Yeah.
really?
Yeah, so
I
they don't
didn't
even
know that.
operate. Yeah, 2 different CEOs. Everything is.
So
done
they're not
differently.
even the same. Are they under the
Nope.
same umbrella?
Nope. Well, kind of, because it's all Seiko Watch Corporation. But
Got it.
as far as how they're operated,
They operate independent, sort of like Rolex and Tudor.
exactly.
Yeah.
Sure.
Solely. Yeah, I mean, they entered the U.S. market back in 2010.
2010. Yeah, they've only
Yeah.
been here for almost 12
Because there's
years.
been a lot of like what I'm seeing right now too in like with vintage. You have a lot of like there's a lot of Grand Seiko high beats
Yeah,
that are coming back.
that's what they did in vintage. Really, that's how they were like destroying Swiss watches in the 60s and 70s.
The high beats.
Yeah, they were entering timing competitions in the 60s and
It's crazy.
placing like second place, third place, second place. And then there's one competition that I can think of. I always forget what the name is, but I know Grand Seiko entered it and they came in second place. And the
wild.
next thing you know, competition's over. It doesn't exist the next year.
When I think of Grand Seiko, I always look at like A, the dial, B, the hour markers.
Yeah,
Like they just
they're wide.
The
Really
polishing
legible.
the
It's super
polishing is
polished.
crazy.
yeah.
Well, if you notice, none of their watches on the hour markers have loom.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah,
They do that on purpose.
Yeah,
because they
but don't
polish
they-
them so well, you always catch light.
They also like don't like they set them by hand.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah.
They are set by hand.
yeah.
Polished by hand and set, even the hands too. And what I like that they do, as opposed to most other brands, is that their hands and dials and even their indices for the hour markers are made out of brass. So you take a brand like Rolex, they make hands and indices out of gold, solid gold. So it's super thin, right? After time, you have to get that service and changed.
Yeah.
Even like if you buy any Rolex right now, say you buy a sub right now, 6-7 years goes by, you're gonna get a service. There's a good chance they're gonna change your hands because after moving for so much and
Sure.
that second hand ticking, there's slight, like hair scratches and maybe slight bends in it that you can't really see under a microscope. So they'll swap it because it's not perfect anymore. With Grand Seiko, that's not an issue.
Yeah.
Because the hands are heavy.
It's crazy.
You know what's funny? What Ben brought up was the fact of Rolex watches ticking.
Yeah.
And I think where Rolex kind of built their popularity was the simple fact that, it was the quote that like Rolex watches don't tick, which now if you are, educated in watches, they actually do tick.
I mean,
But-
all watches
Sure,
tick.
all watches
somehow.
do tick, but like
They just don't tick-tock.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's what you want.
In retrospect, I remember looking at a Rolex watch and, putting it aside, maybe another timepiece and seeing how satisfying that sweeping second hand was. And I,
I mean,
was
the
like, wow,
sweep,
it's so
when you see
smooth.
the sweep is fire.
Yeah.
Yes. Then it was like when I got into, more niche brands like Grand Seiko and seeing what they did with the spring drive
Yeah, that's
movement,
crazy.
you put a superlative Rolex next to a spring drive.
Yeah, it's moving in slow motion.
I mean, there's no comparison.
You want to talk about
That was
sweeping
going to bring me to
seconds?
my next point too, in terms of like innovation and what they're doing right now with movements. This one, they're using the caliber NS66, 72-hour power reserve.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? 35 joules. It's a workhorse. obviously.
Yeah, it's definitely a workhorse. 'Cause that's not even, if I'm not mistaken, that's not even a high beat for them. That's a standard automatic.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm. The standard automatic, yeah.
it's crazy.
They have a new high beat movement with 80-hour power reserve.
And and what's the standard the standard power reserve for like the spring drive?
Spring drive is like
a couple of
50,
days.
50 hours, yeah.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
it's crazy.
Some of them will give more than that. There's some manually wound spring drives that they've done in the past on like really high-end models, like made out of platinum and stuff.
Yeah,
5-day power reserve on the spring drive.
Yeah.
man, I think Grand Seiko's a fire. I feel like they've had an amazing year as a brand. And when I come into contact with with different people in our community, it's like if I come across someone that has one, like they're in love with it.
Yeah, I feel like Grand
It's like
Seiko
it turns into
collectors
like
are-
an everyday.
Yeah, they're
piece.
super passionate about
Yeah.
the brand.
And
I
these
feel
are
like
guys
Grand
that have
Seiko-
like tutors, Rolexes.
Yeah, I feel like Grand
everything.
Seiko guys too are like also very educated in general on watches, and I think
straight up
I think that's
nerds.
kind of what does it for them too.
For sure.
Like
For sure.
Grand Seiko is like a watch nerd's brand
Yeah.
because it's
Absolutely.
very technical.
Or at least like a true collector, somebody that does want to build a solid collection, is definitely the one you should have. You know, outside of everything else, we know those
Yeah.
Grail watches that, you know, we all, you know, aspire to have or do have, but like Grand Seiko definitely is arguably one that has to be in your
Yeah, I
collection.
feel like Grand Seiko's definitely gotten to that point where it's like if you're gonna start a collection, some watches should be in it. A Grand Seiko should be in it
For sure.
in the beginning.
For sure. I agree 100%.
I personally I popped off on a couple of pieces this year, and trying to fall back a little. They're making it incredibly
Yeah,
tough.
they make it hard. They make it super hard.
They're making it incredibly tough because it's like I got the itch again, and then they are checking all those boxes, man. Next, I think in terms of you just brought up a great term, Grail watches.
Mm-hmm.
The Yachtmaster 40 chocolate dial
Two-tone.
two-tone. What do you guys think?
Rollersaur.
As a Grail watch,
Or just in terms of like this is this piece is kind of fire, man.
No, the
I mean, you
piece
know
is
how I feel
fire.
about brown dials.
Yeah. I mean, for me too, is
Like I think an alternative to like a root beer, like
yeah, I was gonna say
yeah.
any
If you don't want to do the standard and get a root beer, then yes.
Yeah.
Also, this is a very different shade of brown than that root beer is. That root beer looks more black. Actually, it is black.
I mean, I think like rose gold is kind of the choice of like precious metal.
Right now, it has been for sure. It's
You
been
know-
very trendy, but I don't think it's a trend. I think it'll be.
you think
around.
it's here to stay.
Yeah, I think.
Yeah,
It'll be
yeah,
around,
for
especially
sure.
with Rolex,
For sure.
right? Because it's proprietary. No one's gonna match that color.
No.
None of these brands do the same color gold. Even the yellow golds are slightly, they vary.
Yeah.
But the cool thing with Rolex is that if you know anything about precious metals, that'll stay that color forever.
Yeah.
If it's any gold that's not yellow, if it's white gold or rose gold, after a very long time, it'll turn yellow again.
Yeah.
That won't. That's why they call it Everrose.
Yeah. Definitely, I'm all for it. Grail watch for me.
Respect. Yeah, it
watch
seems
it.
like the Yachtmaster line has been like the talk of the town in terms of like the lines that Rolex offers. Like I know like where I'm at, I mean I see a Yachtmaster at least once a day.
Yeah, I've seen it. I think a lot of people who get them though, kind of get them as alternatives to a root beer, kind of like we were saying earlier. But it ends up becoming more than that for them.
Where do you think that line falls in terms of Rolex's history right now, right? Like the Submariner is iconic.
Yep.
Explorer 2.
Yeah, those are definitely iconic watches. I don't think the Yachtmaster is there yet, but I think it should be.
I agree.
So it's in the running.
Yeah, definitely.
For sure.
I think the Yachtmaster, like, we don't know what they're going to do in the future, if they come out with more variations or
Yeah.
whatever they decide to do. But I think the Yachtmaster is going to be like, I want something like a sub, but I don't want a sub.
That's kind
Everybody
of
has
how
one.
I feel
Let me get
about
a
it.
yacht.
'Cause
Like,
I was not a fan of that line until I
Yeah.
saw this piece.
Yeah.
I always liked it in Oyster Flex.
Though,
Well,
yeah.
yeah.
Steel, I
Yeah.
could care less for.
The Oyster Flex is
Yeah.
dope. I love the case size, 37 millimeter.
Yeah, that
That's what
37 is
kills it
nice.
for me. It's
That
like
37
that's
is nice.
that's the size.
Perfect lug to lug.
A lot
fits
of
on
men
the
are
wrist.
intimidated by watches under 38 now.
36
I
to
don't get
39
it.
is where
I
I'm
think that's
at.
a sweet spot for
Yeah,
everybody.
that's
Yeah.
ideal.
Yeah, I mean, I lean more towards smaller watches for me. So like, you know, the 37 millimeter is perfect. I'm starting to find a lot of the Yachtmasters on women as well.
Yeah.
It's interesting you said that because that's, I think, most of the people that I'm seeing with a Yachtmaster, I would say out of 10, 7 are women.
Yeah, probably rocking the platinum.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's steel and platinum.
The steel and platinum is
Well,
Which is
they made that in the smaller size too.
yeah.
It's,
Well,
there's
the-
still
yeah.
a lot of watch.
Oh, it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That
Well,
bezel makes
they
it.
retired all the other smaller cases because the
Yeah.
Yachtmasters used to come in like really, really small
Yeah.
cases. I think what was it?
I think there was a 34.
Yeah, I was gonna say
maybe.
it was a 34. There's definitely, I think there definitely was a 34. But I definitely agree.
Personally, if I'm gonna go with Rolex, watch with a brown dial, I don't think that's it for me. I'd go Datejust 41, the chocolate dial.
Sure.
I
feel
just
you
think
on
it's a
that.
better shade of brown.
Fluted
But
bezel.
Yachtmaster on Oyster Flex is in my top 5 for me. And I'm a sucker for anything with red in it, so that red text is nice. It's a little callback to a 1680 sub, which
Sure.
is my personal favorite reference.
All right. Next, just keeping in line with things, I think in terms of watch culture, No Time to Die.
Did we all see the movie?
I haven't seen it
I
yet.
seen the film. The film is amazing.
Fire!
I
I,
haven't
want to
seen
go
it
see
yet.
it the
It's great.
second time.
And I have to say, we're going to get to the watch in a second, and I love the watch. You know how I feel about that
Yes.
watch.
Yeah.
Because I'm a sucker for Omega. Omega is my favorite brand in terms of watches. But I didn't know how to feel about it because it was associated with the film. And then I went back and I started watching a bunch of Daniel Craig 007 movies. And I was like, nah, I get it.
Yeah.
And I haven't
Yeah.
even seen the new one yet.
I think it's because it's him. Like,
Yeah.
he's such a good Bond.
He really is.
It's not. There's nothing
Yeah.
campy about it. It's not. I'm here to work.
Yeah, for sure.
And it feels like a tool. When you see him wear it, it's a tool.
I think regarding Omega 007 co-branded watches, this is the best one
Yeah,
that they've
hands
ever
down.
done.
Some of the other ones feel like toys. They look like toys.
Yeah.
Not only is this the best one, I think this is probably the best Seamaster 300 I've ever seen.
Really?
I think so.
I like that it's titanium.
Mhm.
Definitely like changes the element. At first I kind of was on the fence about it because I felt like it was too novelty because it was like associated with the film. But then, seeing it in person, trying it on,
Yeah.
handling it, I said, you know what, this is something that I could wear.
Yeah, I
every day.
think when I first saw the watch, I kind of fell in love with it again because there's vintage aspects to it, right?
The faux patina.
Yeah, faux patina. Even though the watch is titanium, the bezel insert's aluminum.
Yep.
And then on top of that, red text,
Yeah.
sword hands.
It also has
broad
it's,
arrow.
It's a brown dial.
Yeah.
It doesn't photograph
yeah.
that way.
Yeah.
It photographs
It's brown.
like it's black,
It's
but it's
brown
a
for
brown
sure.
dial,
Yeah.
brown bezel.
Yeah.
And there's no gloss. It's all matte.
It's all matte.
Yep, it's all matte.
Strap or bracelet.
NATO.
That's what I'm saying.
NATO.
right?
NATO.
I think
NATO for
NATO
sure.
is the way to go with
I'm not
this
the
piece.
biggest fan of these like Milanese bracelets. I do like this one more than most,
Yeah.
but not enough to wear it on the bracelet. I'd go NATO all day.
NATO for sure.
So for me, the reason why I say it's the best Seamaster Diver 300, I love the shape of the Seamaster 300 case.
Mhm.
I think it's unique. It separates itself from any other diver on the market aesthetically, but I don't like the wave dials.
I'll agree to that. I do
don't
like
like
that.
wave
I do
dials.
like how most of them are made though, right?
Yeah.
Ceramic dials.
Sure.
It's cool.
They all have like very appealing aspects to it. Like to me, I think it's one of the better designed cases in terms of dive watches because it is so unique. It has almost like a hexagonal kind of thing going on with the bezel that I think is kind of cool. So I've always kind of been a fan, but the
Yeah.
wave dial has always kind of been the thing that like
Deterred you from it.
inhibits me from like popping off on one. This one I'm super into, and I would love to buy it. But the price.
I'm not too mad at the price, and I'm gonna tell you why.
Okay,
Because
I think it's overpriced.
because it's an Omega that's titanium.
Sure.
Right? With it has coaxial movement and it's automatic on top of that, right? Manually wound movements are obviously a little less expensive to make, even the coaxial Omegas, right? Like the Speedmaster has a manual coaxial movement, the new ones.
Yeah.
And the Hesalite's only what, $6,300?
I mean, still
this is what, $1,900 more on the bracelet, but I can't be too mad at it.
$10,000 watch. They're running up on
Yeah,
Submariners.
but what if imagine Rolex made a titanium set?
Sure.
Yeah.
That'd be 15, 16 grand.
It's funny that we talk about price point too, because usually when I am like consulting with guys and watches, you get two sides of the spectrum.
Yeah.
You have some people that are like, listen, don't show me a watch if it's not X amount of price point.
Right.
And then you have some people that are concerned about a price point. But when it comes to these brands, I think what they're trying to do is compete with the market, because there's so many disparities in so many brands where it's like you have one price point, there's nothing in the middle. So you may have a watch that's 5,200 and then there's nothing in between.
It jumps to 20.
And it's
Sure.
52,000.
Yeah.
So I think everybody now is just trying to raise their price point a little bit more just because of the watch craze and, you know, the heavy demand for watches. You know, if you can squeeze the limit for a little bit more juice, I think most brands are.
So kind of tack on that. And price point. It's a whole different watch. It's still Omega, but what about the 321 Speedmaster?
Sure.
14 grand for a Speedy.
I mean,
I think that's outrageous.
listen, I went vintage on that.
Yeah, but look, but the 321 Speedies, how
Sure.
much vintage?
It's
20
Yeah.
plus?
Yeah.
Easy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if a Speedmaster that's steel is 14K just because of the movement. I'm sorry.
But you know, I mean, I hear what you're saying, but that's where like history and like nostalgia comes into play, and
Yeah.
they know their market.
Yeah.
It's an iconic watch. I don't know if there is another watch that's more iconic than a Omega Speedmaster.
Yeah, I think as an object, it's iconic in itself.
You know what I'm saying?
Nonetheless,
It
it being
is,
a watch.
Yeah, but it still is what it is. It's never lost its super utility. It's a beautifully designed watch. Every time I look at mine, I smile.
Yeah, I bet.
Yeah.
It's definitely a Grail piece for me. I think this one, you know, design wise, like I am in love with this watch. It's expensive. I feel like if this is the direction that they're going with the Diver 300s, I'm not mad. Like,
Yeah.
I probably won't pop off on this one, but I'm interested to see how this influences their design language going forward.
Yeah.
You know, even like some of the faux like military insignia and stuff that's printed on the dial and on the back.
Yeah. So speaking of the back of the watch, my favorite detail about actually all the Speedmasters is that it says hand lock on the case back.
It doesn't say that on mine.
On your Seamaster?
My Seamaster?
Yeah.
Oh,
the
I thought you said
Seamasters.
Speedmaster.
The
just
Seamasters,
now.
they all say hand lock on the back of them.
Yes. And you like that?
Yeah, it's my favorite thing about them.
Why?
About the case back. Because it's a callback again to vintage.
Sure, I get it. But that's what this whole piece is about.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, it hits all those marks.
Yeah.
I think in terms of like the vintage aesthetic, the Seamaster line is a line that I like, especially when we talk about vintage. Again, for the contemporary models, I love the case. Not a fan of all the dials, though. That all black one,
The all
is
black
fire.
on rubber.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
The ceramic.
yeah.
Yeah, that black ceramic is dope. I definitely, Perri, I definitely agree with you. It is, you know, the Bond watch I think is super cool. Not something that I would invest in.
At what price point would y'all jump in at this at?
On this,
Yeah.
At
7?
6, 7, yeah.
Six, seven would definitely make me, you know, consider. I just think it's too novelty for me. It's too attached to the film for me.
And then for me, that's A. And then, you know, I'm thinking like $9,200. Okay, what watches do I want in that price?
For 9,200.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So it's
yeah.
like
there's you could do it. I mean, that's a couple grand.
that's what I'm saying. So in terms
Yeah.
of excitement and like what you can get and value for your money, and again, design wise, I think this is incredible. Super duper pleased with what they've produced. It's just like right there, but doesn't exactly cross it. And I think the biggest thing for me too is because I think this obviously it does look better on a NATO strap.
Mm-hmm.
I like mesh bracelets.
Yeah.
This one is kind of bad.
Yeah, why you say that?
The clasp. The clasp was like, I've tried this on. It's like
Yeah.
super duper long. It's uncomfortable.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's true.
yeah.
It doesn't
it folds
feel like
over.
yeah,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? So it's
Yeah.
just like,
Even though it's titanium, it almost feels more cumbersome than the steel one.
yeah,
would.
it's a
'Cause there's a layer
little
to it.
weird. So then I'm thinking like, all right,
Yeah.
$8,000 for
the fold over just wasn't it. That's also another
for
thing,
this
too.
piece on the NATO. I'm like, I'll wait for the next one.
Yeah. they'll
There'll
figure it
probably
out.
be a next one.
Yeah.
More titanium Seamasters to come, I'm sure.
But you guys love the film.
Yes,
Film was
film's
great.
amazing. I will go see it the second time if you want to go.
I mean,
Pick a day.
oh god.
Peer pressure.
Oh man. So there was an auction that happened.
There always
Recently.
is.
Yeah.
Which one?
The Loupe This auction, which I think raises money for, is it breast cancer?
I'm not sure. I know they were doing something with charity surrounding a very controversial piece at the moment.
The controversial piece you're talking about is the Patek
Yes.
green dial
5711.
5711 Nautilus,
Yeah.
The last of its kind, so they say.
the last of its kind. Let's pull that up. Boom, boom, boom. So
Yeah,
this
the-
piece just sold a couple of days ago.
How long was it on auction for? Does it say?
I think for almost the entire month of October.
That's a
We
long time.
originally, I remember somebody posted this to the group chat. Hypebeast actually posted
Yeah,
this,
I think,
which is
yeah.
crazy in terms of like the luxury watch market.
Right.
Like Hypebeast
It's being
is.
covered by Hypebeast now.
On the
last
pulse
year,
now.
I've noticed that.
Yeah.
They've been doing a lot with watches now.
But the auction ended for this piece on October 27th, so just last week.
Mm-hmm.
How much does this piece retail for?
35 and change. Just
And it-
under 36K.
And it just sold for
$369,000.
$369,000. I
10
thought it was
times
going to go
retail.
higher.
Yeah, me too. I thought it was going to break a half easy.
Yeah,
I thought so.
I definitely-
I'm kind of surprised.
Especially with the charity aspect. I thought somebody was going to try to flex the tax write-off and go for it.
And this one is unworn with box, papers, the works. So it's a brand new
Yeah.
watch.
Yeah.
What do you think does that say anything about how people are feeling right now? I mean, there's not a lot of people that can pop off with that kind of money in a watch.
Correct. Yes.
But
There's not a
the
lot of
one
people that
before
can get
that went
access.
for like what, 4 and change?
Yeah, almost $500,000
Yeah.
at Antiquorum, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I think this is pretty big because this is another way that we're seeing timepieces kind of be sold another way other than
Yeah.
a direct point of sale.
Mhm.
So we know of the green market, we know of point of sale, these respected boutiques that do carry these lines, but to auction and like charity this timepiece, it speaks volumes. I don't know on what scheme as to good, bad, or anything other, but I think it's changing the culture. The idea that people want to pick up timepieces and acquire them without a relationship or going through a original jeweler.
Yeah.
This is interesting. This is interesting.
Yeah, I'm more interested on why this piece.
Yeah.
Like, if you own this, or even if you're interested in watches, how hard something like that is to get.
Yeah.
A Nautilus in general,
Yeah.
right? Nonetheless, one that's only being made for 1 year, right?
I was trying to
The
tiptoe
end-
around that.
The end of
He definitely
well,
he
the whole-
pushed the
nah,
button.
yeah,
He
well,
pushed the button.
That's the whole thing, because this watch is only being produced for the year of 2021.
Yeah.
So why, as a collector, someone who is able to buy this at retail, why get rid of it? I don't. That's the part that I'm not really understanding. Because if I was able to get my hand on something like that at retail, I'm getting buried with that.
I think someone's trying to flip the finger to the gray market.
You think that's what it is?
It might be.
I mean, kind of
I mean,
contributed though.
I think that's the flex in his own to be like,
if
sure,
you're gonna
this
flip
is
the finger, you got to keep it.
no, but I mean, but at the same time, you know, if you think about it like this, sure, you may if you keep it, I think you're flipping the finger to everybody that's aspiring to have it.
I mean, I think there is something to be said for someone that A, has access to this watch
Yeah,
at
exactly.
retail,
Access is more
Yeah.
important than the money.
and then B is like, yeah, I don't want it. Give it to you.
That's the flex. That's what I'm saying. That's the flex.
Flex.
That's the flex.
It's like, you know what?
yeah,
green is not my color.
You know, I actually
Yeah.
don't like it.
Yeah.
I want to know what this person is wearing right now. That
Right?
you gave this up
They probably got a G-Shock
on
on.
the. I'm saying.
They have to.
Yeah.
I would.
Cassiope.
Exactly.
I personally am a fan of the 5711. I think the green dial is awesome.
I like the green. I don't like the 5711 reference.
I'd love it.
I feel like there needs to be a complication. 5712 to me, perfect. Perfect.
Yeah. I'm definitely going to agree with you on that, Ben. I love complicated
But
pieces.
I love green though.
Yeah.
I'm saying though, this watch is like
Also, this is the only 5711 to have a surround on the date. I don't know if you guys ever noticed that.
I did, but I didn't realize it was the only one.
Yeah, it's the only one. So it's the only one in steel at least. They only do that for precious metal. Obviously, 5711 1R is rose gold. It has the rose gold surround on the date window. This is the only steel Nautilus that has a surround, which means it's white gold because the indices and hands are white gold.
That's dope.
It's fire.
It's those small little
Yeah, so
things.
that's a detail right there in itself.
All right, moving on. I thought this one was interesting just because, again, Pepsi GMTs are hot right now.
Yep.
So there was a Pepsi GMT 1675 recently went on auction for Loupe this as well. So the same auction. This one, I believe, I'm pulling it up, is late 70s. Let's see. Hold up. Where are we? There we go. Right? Boom.
That one
1978.
looks pretty.
I mean, it's almost mint.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It looks like it.
It went for 18.
It's a competitive price point.
Yeah, it's not bad.
It's very competitive.
I mean, that's good.
It's really good. Yeah.
Yeah, for the condition of this piece. I mean, I'm not going to say where, but
Case back sticker still on it.
yeah,
Did it come with anything else? Oh yeah, boxing papers.
it came with boxing papers.
Yeah, so full kit.
Yeah.
I know someone who recently sold one of these. I'm not going to say who. In far less good condition. It was actually pretty bad
About the same price.
for $20K.
Yikes. Woo.
Yeah.
Well, here's what I have to say to that. What did the dial look like? Because
The dial was beat.
Oh, never mind.
The dial was beat, man. It was
dial can be sometimes all the reasons someone buys a vintage watch.
But there's
dial and
this
insert.
I don't know what it is. Like, I like GMTs. I think they're cool. Like the idea that you have multiple time zones.
Yeah, if you just
On
said
a
it, you
watch,
need
I
one.
think is incredible. We saw the popularity with that at Jacob and his timepiece way back. in
Yeah,
the
5
day.
time zone.
The 5 time zone.
Came back. That's how good it was.
Yeah.
So good. So
Yeah.
good it came back twice.
This piece is, it is a Grail piece for most people. I am not that guy.
Yeah, I don't think I am either. Not for a Pepsi, at least.
39 bids, 18K, wins it all. I thought it would go a little higher myself, I got to admit, just because of all the excitement that I've seen
Yeah.
around these watches, this
Yeah.
particular model and year. And it's rare, for me at least. I haven't seen one in this good of condition from this
really-
period.
Yeah, those hands are like.
I mean, the watch
patina
almost looks
perfectly.
unworn.
Yeah. That was sitting in the safe somewhere for sure.
For a while.
Yeah, for sure.
The patina is perfect. Everything matches.
I mean,
up.
even the bezel is like brand
Yeah, the
new.
bezel
It
looks
doesn't look
spotless.
faded at all.
Mhm.
Like this thing hasn't seen daylight
Yeah, for
in
sure.
some time. 18K. That's how we're feeling. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not so bad for that. I'm with you. I've seen a lot less sell for more,
Mm.
Yeah.
especially at auction. 39 bids. I would have thought 20 all day at least,
At least 20. I could agree with that.
and it's a full kit.
It is a
I've
full
seen some
kit.
sell privately for more. I'm sure we all have.
All right, there's one more. Here we go.
Loop this again.
It's a Loupe this. This was another one that I thought was really good.
All these auctions are literally this week. Well, last week.
I mean, for some people it's Q4.
True. Very true. Bonus season.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For some people it's Q4. So it's holidays are approaching. It's pop-off season. The Rolex Cosmograph Daytona white gold ruby bezel
Yeah.
rubelite dial.
Crazy.
52 bids,
Crazy.
$132,000.
Crazy.
This is
Dials nuts. I
it's
love those
fire.
dials.
Yeah.
and this is all factory,
Yep.
Yeah.
right? I think this is interesting just
Strap is
because
too.
it's incredibly ornate for Rolex. It's more like an art piece. They don't do a lot of stuff like this.
And the stuff that they do make like that, you'll never see. Not in the catalog, at least.
Never.
When you
Yeah.
see it's on someone's wrist.
Yeah. You gotta be a key player for this.
For sure, but it definitely, I think it checks those boxes for those guys that aspire to have a Rolex, and the first thing they think about is like, let me bust this down,
Yeah.
right?
Yep.
So,
They did it for you.
They did it for you.
And they added color to it.
They added color. I think it's done in an incredibly tasteful
Yeah,
way.
it's very
For
tasteful.
sure.
It's not me. I don't wear pink diamonds. I don't wear diamonds.
I do.
Respect to you, sir. But what do you think this says about the brand and the state of the brand right now?
This is what I expect from Rolex at auction, to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Especially for a Daytona. You see a Daytona at auction, as long as it's not modern. By modern I mean steel, ceramic bezel. 6 figures all day.
Yeah.
And this isn't a new piece either, right?
Yeah,
like
it's
this is I
at
guess
least
mid
a decade old.
2000s.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It's interesting because it seems like, Rolex doesn't really take risk, and I think even if they do, because it's them, it's like it's not a risk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because their brand is so strong, but they don't do a lot of this.
They do, but like I said, you'll just never see it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You never see it until it's on somone's wrist. They have like these crazy cheetah print and zebra print dials.
Oh yeah, I've seen
and
that. There's that
Yeah.
famous picture with what's his name? The actor
Nicolas Cage.
Nicolas Cage
with the
yeah.
leopard strap.
Yeah.
Don C has
Which
one
is
of
so
those too,
him,
which is
too.
crazy.
Yeah.
Don C has one of those. I think he has the same one with that leopard strap.
Yeah. I think my favorite circa for Rolex would definitely have to be 90s into 2000s. This was definitely the time period when they were exploring and doing some crazy stuff. Always kept true to their tradition of like watchmaking, but like a crazy gem set, a rainbow
Daytona,
like
subs and JTs.
even seeing like a professional model on a leather strap is something that we will probably not see for a long time from Rolex.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought it was interesting too that this one came on a strap.
Yeah.
Yeah, before
They all used to. All the precious
yeah.
metal Daytonas used to. You were either getting a bracelet or a leather strap.
Yeah.
But you couldn't interchange the two. So if you got a bracelet, you weren't fitting a strap on it.
Yeah, there's a really cool yellow gold Daytona white dial that I was fortunate enough to offer to a really good client of mine with a pink strap.
Rolex pink strap?
Rolex.
What kind of pink
strap.
though? Like Pepto Bismol pink?
It definitely was Pepto pink.
Damn.
It was dope. It was dope. And we were sitting on it and wasn't really expecting for it to move or at least not to be offered to the client that got it. We thought it was gonna be for like a nice, cool, young hipster chick, but like this dude popped off on it and was like, all right, that's the move.
Yeah.
I mean, if you got it.
Yeah, if you got it, you got it.
So if you got it, you got it. Shout out to my guy.
And it was
picked up.
Rolex, so I mean,
Yeah.
can't do much wrong, right?
No, not at all. Rolex definitely gets
I
it
like
right.
this piece though.
Yeah, for sure.
I like
Rolex
the
gets it
ruby
right.
bezel. It's not bad. I like that they almost like sectioned it off, right? It's like 2 rubies, then space, 2 rubies, space. I like that they're not all touching.
Yeah, this is a fire piece. Up next, what's on your radar this week in terms of like, what are you guys looking at that you're actually considering?
So I attempted to buy
purchasing.
something this week.
What
Didn't
was
work
that?
out. Baltic.
Okay. Oh, yeah. the MR01,
Instantly sold
the
out.
salmon dial.
Yes.
Yeah, man.
Yes.
I'm a little butthurt about it, but I'll get over it. I'm
That's
sure
a-
one will turn up.
I am. We were talking about that piece the other
Yeah.
night. I'm
Going crazy for this salmon dial on the green
super
strap.
excited about what Baltic has been up to. I've been following them for a little over a year. They're, for me, they're definitely one of the more exciting micro brands right now.
Yeah, they have something that ticks just about every box.
Yeah.
And there's something about that dial that is a little Patek-ish,
Oh, I mean, it's a 5196p, just in colors.
right?
That's what it is. Literally, that's what it is.
Yeah.
Let me pull
They
this
just
up.
the biggest difference between at least the dial is the placement of the seconds. Sub-seconds is at 6 on the Patek,
Yeah,
and
this
here
one
it's
right
between it's between what, 6 and 9? Yeah, 6 and 9.
I mean, it's a beautiful piece.
Yeah. I'm a sucker for a piece with a cool
Yeah,
sub-second.
sub-seconds have a
Sub-second.
soft spot.
Sub-second is definitely dope, and the fact that it is between the 6 and 9 is even crazier.
Yep. Offset anything on a watch to me is like
Yeah.
For sure, offset anything
Asymmetry.
is crazy.
The hour markers are super exaggerated,
Yeah,
but
those are-
I don't hate it. I actually really, really like it.
I like the leaf hands. It
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
it's like huge leaf hands, but
like
it's super cool.
literally, if you pull up Patek 5196p, almost a carbon copy. The difference is going to be seconds. Really, it's just the seconds are at 6 on that, and the Patek kind of has a sector dial, except there's no secondary color.
Let's pull that up.
This is a lot more fun, though. Obviously,
For sure.
Yeah, I see what
Sure.
you mean.
And definitely, respected amongst,
yeah, Baltic's a well-respected brand. No
Yeah.
one's looking at this.
And
as
this
a
one,
Patek
yeah,
knockoff.
the 5196p has that sub dial.
Yes,
Yeah.
It's center. It's
yeah,
linear.
it's right above 6,
Mm-hmm.
and it's also a lot smaller because if you see, it's
What's
on
the
the
case
inside
size
of
on
that
this?
sector.
Oh, it's a 37
Yeah.
millimeter.
Mm-hmm.
And the Baltic is
38.
it 38?
I think so.
Also, can we talk about the fact that this watch is under $700?
Yeah, $630
That's a steal.
That's crazy.
Steal.
for a watch with a micro rotor.
Yeah.
That's wild, dude. Did you have one, Rashawn? What are you looking at right
I
now?
mean, I definitely have.
I know you got a couple.
Yeah, he always has a
I
couple.
got a lot of watches on my radar. I'm definitely gonna go with the Omega Speedmaster, the Schumacher dial.
The yellow.
We were talking about the yellow. Yellow's my favorite.
I like the blue.
Yellow's
yellow's my
Ben's favorite. I'm thinking the red.
The red's,
Okay.
red's a close second. For me.
Red is really, really unique. I don't think I have any timepieces right now with any kind of like red accents or some kind of like pop of red. And of course, I have a yellow strap on my vintage Seiko, so I may not do like a yellow dial. I'll leave that to Ben.
Or you could go yellow on yellow. Go full boat.
Oh man,
Give us some Iron Man action. You get the red Schumacher yellow strap anyway.
that's actually pretty cool. And go Iron Man. I like that.
See? Come on. I got you. Your best interest is that heart.
Yes, I
I
appreciate it.
I kind of like the I think in terms of Schumacher, that one you sent, the blue one,
Blue.
because it just reminds me of NASA. It's like this, the NASA,
NASA
blue.
It is that NASA blue.
It's that NASA
It is
blue.
true like NASA blue, yeah.
The Seiko prospects.
I was actually looking at a Seiko prospect this weekend. I don't know how this came into my feed. The SPB 121J1, which is apparently a repro of the first sports watch that they made. Green dial, no surprise.
Yeah.
I would obviously put another strap on it. I think the strap is no bueno.
What would you do if that's not brown?
I mean, I would just put if like I'm not mad at a leather strap. I'm not mad at an alligator or a crocodile strap. I would just make sure that it was real alligator or crocodile.
Yeah, true. That's standard.
I like a black croc on that.
Black croc, I think would
what
set
about like
this
a
up.
super dark green?
That would be fire too.
Something that like almost looks black in the right light.
So what's cool about this watch? It also you got the crown right there with the crown guard, and at below
4
that,
o'clock.
yeah, at the 4 you got another crown that turns the compass inside. So this is like a true field watch.
Yeah, definitely.
And I love that about it. I don't know. This one, it speaks to me. This watch is super cheap. Also, I think it's like
Under 5, right?
I think it's like 7 and change. I think it retails for like just over 700.
Yeah, it's extremely unique though.
And I'm not. I don't really pop off on Seikos.
Do you own any?
I don't. But I came across that one and I almost hit buy. Like
Immediately? No hesitation?
almost, but then I remembered I'm saving up for a new tutor. 665.
Okay.
This thing is going for.
Okay.
But apparently they're also incredibly popular. So this is from the Alpinist, the Prospect Alpinist line. Japan made.
Yeah.
Joint is a heater.
That compass is super legible too.
It's dope.
Yeah, I was gonna say like
Doesn't look like the dial was packed in on squish.
Nah.
Yeah, all those like kind of like unique kind of like additives to a watch is super cool. Like the compass, the rotating bezel is crazy. It's definitely a green light for me.
Is that an open case back?
This one, I think it does.
Yeah.
Yeah, it does.
Exhibition case.
Which is I don't really
care about
I don't really care about exhibition cases, and I'm kind of puzzled by brands that do it when the movement isn't really super attractive. I don't get it.
I'm puzzled by brands that do it on sports watches.
Yeah, it's a little weird. But I also understand that like you've got, more and more people kind of get into the market as enthusiasts, and I get, for someone who is just getting into it, or maybe even for someone who's like a diehard Seiko fan, that this is something that's kind of like exciting. Me personally, it's going to sit on my wrist. I'm never going to look at the exhibition.
Yeah. I think the other thing about watches with, open case backs too, especially for a brand like Seiko, where it's like, how much can we do at this price point?
Yeah.
Like, how much can we give to people at this price point?
Yeah.
Because, especially when I was younger, a little less educated on watches, I always thought any watch that had an open case back was just super expensive.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, just super expensive. But as we see, that's not necessarily the case.
Mm-hmm. All right. So we reviewed a lot of watches. Just going back, I know one of the things we talked about, and what's always up for debate, I know, like, especially with us, we're always like swapping out bands and straps. So I guess just going back through it, maybe let's hit some votes up and see how we're feeling. So we talked about the Big Crown Pro Pilot Big Date. This piece comes on a canvas strap. You keep it, you swap it. What are you putting on this thing?
I'll keep it.
You keep it?
Yeah, I like Oris's straps.
Yeah, I'll keep it.
Especially those fabric canvas straps. They feel super heavy duty.
Yeah, they do them well.
And what's cool about this one is it feels like a field watch.
Yeah.
So I'm not mad at that. I feel like it stays true to the spirit
I also
of
feel
this
like
piece.
if you're wearing that, maybe 6-9 months, a year.
Mm.
The wear on that canvas,
Oh, it's
those
gonna look
edges
nice.
start to fray.
Yeah.
That's the move.
Get roughed up.
And on the bronze watch.
As I was just about to say that. With the patina,
Right.
and then you got the fraying on the strap. That's kind of fire.
Getting it wet, get caught in the rain, letting it dry off, spots get lighter.
Heck yeah.
Yeah.
The Grand Seiko
Get the strap.
GMT SPG
That's an instant
M245
strap.
and 247. You putting that on NATO or
Strap.
leather strap?
Yeah.
I would do NATO.
I think that case might be too tall for a NATO.
Yeah?
Like, yeah, proportion might feel a little weird.
I'd go with the strap. I'd definitely go with the strap. Nice brown leather.
So would you go green or blue dial?
Definitely
I'm going
green.
green.
We all going green?
We all going green. We're all going green. Definitely can attest to green.
We're not biased at all.
No. All right.
Green is the move.
So then what strap would you put on?
Me?
Yeah.
I'm putting it on NATO.
What color?
I would probably do green on green.
No orange?
I would do orange. I would even do
Orange is cool.
kind of like a khaki.
Yeah, khaki would be cool. Gives it that real feel.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that would look like a field watch.
That's where it's like definitely like feel.
Especially
watch.
with watches like this, because I feel like they have kind of like a, when you put on a strap, it has like a jean and t-shirt kind of feeling to it. That's kind of nice, where it's like
Yeah.
you're playing with like these high and low elements.
Yeah,
I
it's
feel
like
putting that on
juxtaposition
NATO-
almost.
Yeah, I think that's kind of nice.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I'm with that.
Yachtmaster chocolate dial. What are we doing with that? You leaving it on the two-tone bracelet? I'm not a
Yeah,
two-tone dude.
I think for Rolex you can't even touch them. You just gotta
Yeah.
wear them how they
I know
come.
that's a sin.
Yeah.
I'm sinning.
To be honest, they just anything else just looks bad on them.
Yeah.
For whatever reason, I've never found a third party strap
What
maker.
about the Oyster Flex?
Oh,
I didn't
the
have to
Oyster
be
Flex
third-
is
doesn't have to be
fire.
third
Yeah, but
party.
you can't fit an Oyster Flex on that.
You can't on this one?
Nope. They all have individual lug patterns. Even if you bought the same watch, right? Let's say, all right, they make an Oyster Flex Daytona and a Steel Daytona, right?
Yeah.
You can't take your Steel Daytona and fit an Oyster Flex on it
I mean,
because end links are different.
come on, Rolex. Let's get it together.
Patek does the same
We
thing.
gotta have some fun. I think we all stand on the same square with respect to the Diver 300. No Time
Yeah.
to Die. That's going on the
NATO.
That's going on NATO for sure.
Yeah.
NATO for sure.
NATO.
Definitely going on NATO.
I'm not even going to touch the Rubelite.
No, that has to stay how it is. That strap is also fire.
The strap-
stays
That
on-
strap is
It's
fire.
actually
That's
on a
a
really,
good
really
shade of
good
red.
strap.
It's
Yeah,
fire.
that stays on strap.
The Salmon Dial Baltic.
Salmon Dial Baltic, I'd buy it on the green. I think all the other colors are boring and kind of expected for a Salmon Dial.
You would put on the green?
I would buy it on the green. I ain't keeping it on green.
What are you putting on there?
I would find a salmon skin strap.
Yeah.
We're going full killer cat.
I would
on this
go
one.
straight to Jean Rousseau and say, "Yo, what can you
I
do?"
kind
for
of
me?"
like the contrast between the like a leather blue strap
it. Looks really handsome on blue.
and the pink dial.
Blue just personally does nothing for me.
That does a little bit for me. I think, and maybe not this one, but we could figure something out.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I think the blue strap on that salmon Baltic is probably the best combination. It just goes against my morals.
It's a good way of putting it.
Yeah.
I think that kind of takes care of it
Yeah,
today, guys.
I mean,
I think this is
what would you say for the salmon Baltic?
Oh no, I was
Strap?
No, definitely on a strap.
Yeah.
Definitely on a strap. Definitely on a strap.
respect.
Yeah.
Well, that just about does it for us. I think that's episode 1.
Is that a wrap on episode 1?
I think that's a
Official?
wrap. We can
That's
call
a
it a
wrap.
wrap. We can make
Yes.
it official.
For sure.
So this was episode 1. Wrist Check Podcast. Tune in next week.
Yes.
Peace.
Respect.
Deuces.